Hello my dear students. So in my last class, I started explaining about reactions and reactivity of phenols. So we jumped into organic chemistry topic. So in our previous classes, we discussed about thermodynamics, which was a physical chemistry topic, and under unit 4 chapter 4.1. So in the last session, we started discussing or understanding about reactions and reactivity of phenols, right? So there we understood what are phenols. Like phenols are the organic compounds which contain hydroxyl group, that is OH group, which will be directly attached to the aromatic ring. And we saw the classifications, and the classifications are made based on the number of hydroxyl groups present, and on which substitution, whether it has present or located or situated in the ortho, meta or para position, on that basis. And as I said, mainly on the number of hydroxyl groups, say for example monohydric phenols, dihydric phenols, trihydric phenols, that means single hydroxyl group, 2 hydroxyl group, 3 hydroxyl group respectively, is known as different types of phenols. Okay, and next we understood the acidic properties of phenols. So how the phenols are understood or shown in nature. So phenols are acidic in nature. That is because due to the formation of stable phenoxide ions. So how the stable phenoxide ion is formed, so that was clearly understood in our previous class. That means so when phenol comes in contact with aqueous solution, so their protonation is going to take place. So the hydrogen which is present in OH, that is hydroxyl group, that is going to get dissociated, thereby forming phenoxide ion. And we also understood what happens when phenols comes in contact with the hydroxides, or usually the base or alkali metal hydroxide. We call them as alkali metal hydroxide. And we took an example of sodium hydroxide. We reacted phenol with sodium hydroxide, and we saw that there was a formation of sodium phenoxide, and which was resonance stabilized structure, and the negative charge which was present on the oxygen of the phenoxide ion is delocalized through the resonance structure. Okay, so that is why, so that stability of the phenoxide ion is due to the resonance. Since it possesses the resonance, just like how we see in benzene, so phenoxide ions also forms various different structures that we saw in the previous class. So that stability increases to phenoxide ion. That is because of various different types of resonating structures which it can arise due to the negative charge which is present on the oxygen. Okay, and next we compare the acidic property of phenols with alcohols, and we understood that the phenoxide ion is stabilized to a greater extent than phenol. So what happens is the Ka value of a phenol will be larger than that of alcohol. Right, so phenols are more acidic than compared to alcohols. And next was comparison of acidic properties of phenols with carboxylic acids. So there carboxylic acid is found to be more acidic. That means it will have more Ka value than phenol. And there we also understood so how the carboxylic acid is going to get dissociated, and the negative charge which is present in the oxygen atom, it is delocalized, and also it will form carboxylate ion. Okay, so the intermediate is also formed, and so this makes the hybrid of a carboxylate ion relatively more stable than the hybrid of a phenoxide ion. So that is why so carboxylic acid is found to be more acidic compared to phenol. And next was comparison of acidic properties of phenols with carbonic acids. Okay, so in carbonic acids also, so we observed that carbonic acid is a stronger acid compared to phenol. Okay, so this is where we stopped in our previous class, and in this session let us briefly understand what is meant by Fries rearrangement and what is meant by Claisen rearrangement. Okay, so I am going to take only two rearrangement reactions in this session. So please concentrate and listen how the rearrangement is going to happen, and mainly this is the topic where we are discussing the reactions and reactivity of phenols. So that is why we will take up the phenol derived compounds itself as an example. That means Fries rearrangement is an organic rearrangement, so in which the phenyl ester, okay, so phenyl ester is heated with the anhydrous aluminum chloride. Okay, so this is AlCl3. So AlCl3, so this is AlCl3, so it has become AlC13. No, this is wrong, AlCl3. So what we are going to do, we are going to take phenyl ester. So this is phenyl ester. Okay, so phenyl ester is heated with anhydrous aluminum chloride. What happens is, so this is the acyl group, so which is acyl group COCH3 is called as acyl group. Okay, so in phenyl acetate, so this COCH3 group is called as acyl group. This acyl group is going to migrate to ortho or para position. Okay, so this is what is called as ortho position. This we understood in our previous class. Okay, so if it is in second position, ortho. If it is in third position, then it is meta. If it is in fourth position, then it is para. So in the same way, the acyl group, when it reacted in presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, so the acyl group is going to migrate to ortho and para positions to form phenolic ketones. Okay, so what is the product obtained is ortho hydroxy. Since this is acyl group has been located in the ortho position, we name it as ortho, and since hydroxyl group is present, ortho hydroxy acetophenone, because this is located or formed in a benzene ring or a phenyl group, so that is why acetophenone. In the same way, so here the acyl group has been migrated to para position, so that is why para hydroxy acetophenone. So this reaction is called as Fries rearrangement. Okay, so as I said, Fries rearrangement, it is a very important organic rearrangement reaction. This is also called as a famous phenol organic reaction. That is because, so here the phenolic compound is used for the rearrangement. Okay, so what happens here, as I said, so aryl ester or phenyl ester is transformed into a hydroxy aryl ketone. So this is a hydroxy aryl ketone. This hydroxyacetophenone is an example of hydroxy aryl ketone with the help of a Lewis acid catalyst and an aqueous acid. So in this reaction, what happens? An acyl group belonging to the phenolic ester, it is going to migrate to the aryl ring. So it is important to note that Fries rearrangement is ortho and para selective. That means, so in this reaction, there is a chances of migration to the ortho position as well as to the para position. So that is why Fries rearrangement is ortho and para selective. Understood? So the acyl group attaches itself at the ortho or para positions of the acyl ring, and the selectivity of the reaction can be directed by modifying the reaction conditions. So if we modify the reaction conditions, then we can modify or then we can control the selectivity of the reaction. How we are going to control the reaction? So the reaction conditions can be controlled, such as the temperature under which the reaction is conducted or the solvent used in the reaction. Okay, so by controlling the temperature or by choosing the proper solvent, we can selectively control the migration of acyl group to the ortho or para position. Okay, so this is a beautiful demonstration of a Fries rearrangement reaction. Next, moving on to the mechanism part. So in the Fries rearrangement mechanism, so initially what happens is, so the carbonyl oxygen which is belonging to the acyl group, okay, so this is the acyl group and this is what is called as the carbonyl oxygen which belongs to the acyl group. So it forms a complex with a Lewis acid catalyst. So this AlCl3 AlCl3 is a best example of a Lewis acid catalyst. So the formation of the complex with carbonyl oxygen is favored over the complexation of the phenolic oxygen, since the carbonyl oxygen is richer in electrons and it is therefore a better Lewis base. Okay, so here in the first step what happens is, so the carbonyl group which is present in the acyl group, this is going to combine with the aluminum chloride, thereby to form a complex. Okay, so this is the first step in the reaction mechanism of Fry's rearrangement. Next what happens, so now the bond between the phenolic oxygen and the acyl complex, they both will become polarized. Okay, so if you observe here, so here we can see a polarization. That means, so here the positive and negative charge is going to be formed. So this results in the rearrangement of aluminum chloride bond to the phenolic oxygen. So there we can see the aluminum chloride directly, it goes and forms a bond to the carbonyl group which is attached to the acyl group. This results in the generation of an acylium carbocation. Okay, so this is what is called as acylium carbocation. And next what happens is, so this acylium carbocation, it goes on to attack the aromatic ring. So this will attack the aromatic ring, and this attack of aromatic acylium ion which is going to attack to the aromatic ring, so it will follow the electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction that we have to observe here. So here, since electrophile has been generated in this step, so what happens is the acyl carbocation, it goes on to attack the aromatic ring via electrophilic aromatic substitution reaction. And what happens is, so when this acylium ion or acyl chloride is going to eliminate, when the aluminum chloride is attacked to this carbonyl group, so we are going to form acylium ion which is separated. So this acylium ion is going to get separated. So it is very important to note that the orientation of this electrophilic aromatic substitution is temperature dependent. So here, so the temperature is, it plays a very crucial role. So in low temperature reactions, so it favors the substitutions at para position, and at relatively high temperatures it favors ortho substitution. Okay, so this is how the temperature is going to play a role here. So next, once after the acylium ion has been separated, what it is going to do is, so here the bond, the double bond which has been present in this phenyl ring, so it will get break up, and thereby here the acylium ion can easily go and attach to this position of the benzene ring or phenolic ring. Okay, so again, so here the rearrangement is going to take place. So how the rearrangement will take place is, so the hydrogen which is present in this substitution, so it will abstract chlorine, and thereby it will convert into a hydrochloric acid. Okay, so it is converted into hydrochloric acid, and here the acyl group will clearly go and attach to the ortho position of the phenol group. So what happens to this aluminum chloride substrate which is present there? So there, upon hydrolysis, if we carry out hydrolysis, so this aluminum chloride, so that will clearly get separated, thereby forming a hydroxyl group. And this is the final product which we are going to get, that is the orthohydroxyacetophenone. So as I said, the para attack of the benzene ring by acylium ion takes place in this reaction. Orthoisomer is the major product at lower temperature, and the para isomer predominates at high temperature. Okay, so this is one important observation what we can make in Fry's rearrangement. So this is how we are going to explain the mechanism of Fry's rearrangement. So let me explain it again briefly. So the mechanism involves, as I said, it involves the formation of an acylium ion which then attacks the aromatic ring as shown. So in the first step, what it is going to happen is, as I said, so here the carbonyl oxygen which belongs to the acyl group, so it forms a complex with the Lewis acid, that is aluminum chloride, thereby it will form a complex. Okay, and next what happens is, here the rearrangement is going to take place. Here this bond, it will get breaks down and it will move towards the aluminum chloride, thereby forming acylium ion. The acylium ion is going to formed. And again in the next step, so the double bond which is present here, so this will be breakdown. That is because due to the two lone pair of electrons which are located in this oxygen, it makes when this lone pair of electron returns to this bond, automatically this will break down. Next what happens, so the hydrogen which is present here, so that this will abstract one chlorine molecule in aluminum chloride, thereby converting it into as hydrochloric acid, and it will get liberated or eliminated. Upon hydrolysis, in the next step what happens, so here the hydroxyl group is replaced and the final product orthohydroxyacetophenone is obtained. Okay, so in this way we are going to explain the mechanism in case of Fry's rearrangement. And the next rearrangement what we have to concentrate on in this class is Claisen rearrangement. So what is meant by Claisen rearrangement? So Claisen rearrangement says that when orthoallyl ether of phenol, okay, so this is orthoallyl ether of phenol is heated to about 473 Kelvin, so it rearranges to give orthoallyl phenol. Okay, so this is orthoallyl phenol. So this is a intermolecular or intramolecular thermal rearrangement of phenyl allyl ethers, and this is called as Claisen rearrangement. For example, so this is a allyl phenyl ether. Okay, so this is allyl phenyl ether and this is the allyl group. So this allyl group has been attached to the oxygen at the both ends. So we have both the ends of oxygen, we have at one end phenyl and at another end allyl group is present. So that is why it is named as allyl phenyl ether. So this when we heat it to about 473 Kelvin, a rearrangement is going to take place. What is the rearrangement? So here this bond is going to get breakdown, and there, so the oxygen will get converted into a hydroxyl group or OH group, and this allyl group, so the allyl group shifts or migrates towards the ortho position of the phenyl ether. So this is the product what we are going to get. So here the allyl group which was attached to this oxygen, it has just break down and it has migrated towards the ortho position. So this reaction is called as Claisen rearrangement. So the Claisen rearrangement is also a very important organic chemical reaction which offers a powerful method in the formation of carbon-carbon bonds. So here if you see, so here this is there is a carbon present, and this is in the allyl group also we have carbon. So this is a powerful method in the formation of carbon-carbon bonds. And the reactant of this reaction, that is allyl phenyl ether, is converted into gamma delta unsaturated carbonyl compound when subjected to heat or a Lewis base or acid. Okay, so this is why, so this plays a very important role in organic chemistry reaction. It has been observed in this reaction, that is in Claisen rearrangement reaction, that the allyl group migrates almost invariably to the ortho position. If the ortho positions are blocked, okay, suppose if there is any other substitution present in this ortho position is not free chain or free side, so then what happens? The allyl group migrates to the para position. Okay, for example, so this is an example where we have taken allyl 2,6-dimethyl phenyl ester. So this is allyl 2,6-dimethyl phenyl ester. So this upon heating, so more or less 473 Kelvin. So what happens is, so since here the two ortho positions are blocked, that is because here at ortho position methyl group is present, and in this side also at ortho position methyl group is present. So in both the sides the ortho groups are protected or blocked by replacing or by the presence of methyl group. So then what happens? Then obviously, so this allyl group without any doubt, it goes and attaches or attacks or migrates to the para position. So this is one example. So as I said, if the ortho positions are blocked, then the allyl group migrates to the para position. The mechanism of Claisen rearrangement is very simple. Why I say it is very simple? Because so here the rearrangement involves the cyclic mechanism. So there is a inversion of allyl group during the rearrangement. So if you observe here, just observe the arrow marks what I have shown here in this. It is very clear that so there is a inversion. That means so here a cyclic mechanism is going to be observed. That is so the carbon atom at the gamma position. Okay, so this is alpha, beta, gamma. So this is the gamma position. Okay. So this carbon atom which is present at gamma position, so it will get attached to the aromatic nucleus at ortho position. Okay. So when this bond is broken or breakdown, so here the pair of electrons which is present, that will be moved towards this side, and thereby it favors in the formation of oxygen, which will be situated with the double bond attached to the phenyl ring. Okay, and next what happens, so this carbon, that is especially the gamma carbon atom, so that will go and attach to the aromatic nucleus at the ortho position, and thereby we will get a intermediate product, and this is the intermediate product. And again here the rearrangement is going to take place. How the rearrangement will take place is so this the double bond which was present in the phenyl ring, so that will return to this phenol group or aromatic nucleus, and when this happens, obviously so the double bond which has been formed between the carbon, this carbon and this oxygen, that has to break down, and here it will create a nucleophilic structure. That means the lone pair of electrons will be present at the oxygen, and this will attract the hydrogen, thereby it gets converted into a hydroxyl group. Okay, and this is the final product what we are going to get, and this is the ortho allyl phenol. So in this way the mechanism seems to be very simple, and it is carried out by cyclic mechanism way, and we observe an inversion of the allyl group during the rearrangement. So that inversion is nothing but, so the carbon atom at the gamma position to the etho oxygen, it gets attached to the aromatic nucleus at ortho position. Okay, so this is how we are going to explain the mechanism of Claisen rearrangement. The simple observations what are made in the mechanism of Claisen rearrangement are, so in this the electrons are pushed around the 6-membered ring in an electrocyclic process. So that is why I said it is a cyclic mechanism. So here the electrons are pushed around the 6-membered ring in an electrocyclic process. The resulting dienone, now it undergoes tautomerization to give the aromatic enol form. So this form is more stable than the dienone form. So that is why so the required compound is therefore formed, and the required compound is the ortho allyl phenol. There are many things to observe in Claisen rearrangement, variations of Claisen rearrangement. We can observe the Claisen rearrangement in case of aromatic Claisen rearrangement, or Bellus Claisen rearrangement, or Ireland Claisen rearrangement, photo Claisen rearrangement. Like this, various types of Claisen rearrangement reactions are there. But so in your syllabus, so they have taken very simple examples to make you understand what is meant by Claisen rearrangement. So as I said, when allyl phenyl ether is heated to about 473 degree or 473 Kelvin, so the ortho allyl phenol is obtained, and this intramolecular thermal rearrangement of phenyl allyl ethers is known as Claisen rearrangement. Okay, so I am going to stop it here, and if you have any doubts, so you can clarify it once you come to the college, because this is organic chemistry. I understand it will be very difficult for you to follow by just listening to the lecture. It needs live or physical class to understand the reaction mechanisms and all. So if you keep your textbooks in front of you, and if you listen to my lecture, and also see the pointer, so I am using the pointer in organic chemistry. So this pointer, observing this pointer is very very important, because it just follows how I write on the board. So that is why how the rearrangement is going to take place. Okay, so where the bond is going to break down, and which carbon atom is known as alpha carbon atom, what is beta carbon atom, what is gamma carbon atom. So all these things are very very important, and also the directions of the arrow mark. Okay, and how the arrow marks has been shown. So you have to observe everything while listening to this online class. Okay, so be little concentrated, and it is very simple. As I said, we have taken very very simple examples. That means the university has been prescribed very simple examples to demonstrate or to show what is meant by Fries rearrangement and Claisen rearrangement. Okay, I hope you have understood what is these reactions, and also how the mechanisms are explained. Okay, so in my next class we will see another two rearrangement reactions. That is, one is Gutterman synthesis and manage reaction. Okay, so we'll meet in my next class. Thank you, dear students.